how do you think about the balance between not moving around too much or leaving a project too early, while also not getting stuck in a position in which you can no longer grow? So you've done a great job sort of going through the thought process. Maybe you could give us a little bit more color there.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Um, it's a really personal question, the way that like what feels like stagnant, right? So in some ways, throughout the evolution of the company, I started out as kind of like head of design. I moved through head of engineering, then I moved into the CTO role, then I moved into the CEO role. And each point along the way, there were aspects of things I really liked and aspects of things that I didn't, but it was never dull. There was always something that was really exciting. And even at times when things were like really tough or really whatever, I would look and say like, is there some other place where I'm going to learn at the rate that I'm learning here? And for me, you said it, Emily, like that's what drives me. And it was actually a conversation I had with my dad at one point a couple of months ago, and he goes, well, you're not getting paid very well. Like all of a sudden he changes. Right now it's been like 20 years and he changes. He goes, maybe you should go look at something else, but kind of keep this on the side. And I was like, Dad, like I'm learning more here than I would learn anywhere else right now. And I'm learning how to be a CEO. I'm learning, sometimes it's trial by fire and you make mistakes, especially hard during COVID. We kind of work with different demographics. And at the end of the day, I would say like, you kind of know when you're not happy anymore. And it's not, there's things that make you unhappy, but there's also things that make you say like, you're not aspiring to anything. And as soon as you see like, it's time to go, is like, is this actually getting me back to that personal mission statement? Is like, am I going to be better off? Is this going to drive me all the way back? And that's why I think it's so important to have, is because without that North Star, I think companies will fail. I think individuals will fail. And, in one of these books, The Art of the Impossible, Stephen calls it the massive transformative purpose, is what he calls his personal mission statement. And at the end of the day, like, if you think of yourself as like an explorer, like Magellan, if he couldn't see the stars, he probably couldn't navigate. And you can always kind of chart how you're doing. You come back, you reevaluate, you do everything that you need to do. And you just kind of know each one of those places. I've kind of known that like I've gotten bored, and when I get bored, I start to look at other things. I look outward instead of inward. That's my view. As soon as I start looking outward and not inward, it's like, okay, I'm getting restless, I'm getting bored. And that's kind of the sign for me.